Welcome to the Story of Immortality. You're about to enter a magical world. We invite you to savor the feeling of peace, love, and wisdom as it opens your eyes to your true self, to reality itself. The sessions are designed to uplift you as you access the subtle, eternal spiritual universe that moves within this physical world. To take maximum benefit from this series, we recommend the following important tips. Sit in a quiet place where you can be alone for an hour. We ask you to take this time out and be with yourself with no distractions. Sit with your spine straight, either in a comfortable chair or on the floor. This will ensure that the energy flowing in your body will support what you're hearing. Keep your phones in silent mode and away from you in another room for the whole hour. We encourage you to keep your camera on. Our experience has taught us that other participants will be inspired to see you. We will record these sessions. Only the speakers and not the participants will be recorded. 5 languages are available for translation. To select a language, click on the interpretation button, and then you can opt for Hindi, Spanish, French, Telugu, or Tamil by clicking on one of them. This is our registration link. It is not mandatory, but if you would like to receive the recordings and other information, then do register.
Om Shanti. Welcome to the Story of Immortality, presented by Brahma Kumaris. Today is our episode 19. So we have reached to a long journey, and thank you so much for being with us. And there is one more episode next Saturday. And yes, Sister Shireen had been announcing that we'll be having another series after this in month of October. So let's see the flow of the program today. And then today our 2 angels, Sister Shireen and Sister Dorothy, will share with us.
This program, The Story of Immortality, will enlighten you through insights, visuals, and meditations. We will begin soon with 15 minutes of sharing with a senior teacher. Then Sister Shireen or Sister Dorothy will make a 30-minute presentation, interspaced with 2 meditations that unwrap the book. Lastly, we will address questions from participants for 10 minutes. Om Shanti, everyone. Good morning. Om Shanti. Sister Dorothy, welcome. So today, Sister Dorothy is going to be our senior teacher sharing. So hello, Sister Dorothy.
Good morning. It's so nice to be here with you.
So I'm sure all of you know Sister Dorothy very well, but just to give you her brief introduction.
Very brief.
Very brief. She lives in Peace Village, and she is wonderful, as you know, so that's brief enough, Dorothy.
That's good.
She has been practicing the teachings of the Brahma Kumaris, the Story of Immortality, for about 36 years now. So welcome. Well, and she started in Tampa, so welcome. The question I have for you is, today's topic is an interesting topic. It is on our angel guide. And I want you to talk about why we call our founder, Brahma Baba, our angel guide.
Okay. He was the founder of this whole organization, as we know, but he was more than a founder. He was also an example. And he was such an example, he inspired really millions of others. And he walked the talk. In other words, he became what he talked about. And he was the example of reaching his complete stage. In other words, he had settled all of his karmas. He had reached his perfection, imbibing all the powers, all the virtues. He became a complete self-sovereign. And so he's our example. And when you reach that stage, which is called the karmatit stage, when you complete all your karmas, you finish your karmas in the body, then the next step is that he became angelic. So he discarded his physical body. He left his physical body, but he, as a soul, which is a point of light, a star, consciousness, with his subtle body of light that the soul emits, he became an angel.
All right, fabulous. So tell me your first experience of Brahma Baba.
My first experience. Okay.
So physically, in this life, physically you didn't meet him.
No, but I have a very profound experience that I'll share. I hope it's not too profound for people to understand. But when I was my first time in Madhaban, my very first time in Madhaban, which is our headquarters, also called the Forest of Sweetness. So the first time I went, I stayed in a building that was in the back of Madhaban, and it was high up on a building, the top floor. And to go downstairs, you would go wrap around this tower, okay? And it was just called the tower. They called it the airplane tower because it was the highest place in Madhaban. So, but every morning at 3:30, I would wake up and I'd go down and I'd walk around this tower and go to get some chai, some tea, and then I would go and do my meditation around the Tower of Peace, different places. And I would just always love that feeling in the early morning. And I don't know what drew me to that stairwell. No one else was going down these back steps, down this stairwell. And when I came home from Madhaban back to the US, I was thinking, you know how you visit a place and you reminisce, you daydream of that place, right? And so I was daydreaming of Madhaban. And one of the things I was daydreaming was walking down those steps. And the funniest thing happened. Every time I would recollect that scene, I would see Brahma Baba laying on the steps before me, like this.
Right.
And I didn't understand why is this happening? And he just kept reoccurring. But as time goes by, other things start to come into your intellect, into your mind, and you lose some of that. And this is why study regular is so important, so we don't lose anything. And it was about 15 years later, Shireen, 15 years later, it was Shivratri and they were celebrating Shivratri, and Dadi Prakashmani was up in the airplane tower, right? And she was handing out apple with butter. That was totally the treat. And she then related this story, how Brahma Baba would come to the airplane tower, and there was a little room there, like a alcove almost, and he had his pillows there, and he would lay there like this, and he would study and write his notes. And so and that's when I realized that I was picking up the vibrations of Brahma Baba.
Right. Right.
And so that's my most profound experience in this birth of Brahma Baba. I had other little experiences when I created slideshows. I just felt I was there, you know.
Right, right. So there is a difference between sakar or vyakt, right? Avyakta means physical, and avyakta means unmanifest. So manifested and unmanifested. So we say Brahma Baba is avyakt. And so when you meditate, do you use him in his avyakt form?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I go to Shiv Baba, you know, just the Supreme Soul. And sometimes I go to Avyakt Bapdada, or what Brahma Baba in his Avyakt form. But I feel that in his Avyakt form, he's always connected with Shiv Baba very closely. It's like the two, you know, they move together. They're right there. And so I do have relationship with him in the subtle region in different ways. And
not like the vyakt form, right? Like you had.
No, not that way. But for example, one of my most entertaining ways of remembering Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba is I just and actually I'm going to feel it now while I'm talking to you. What I like to do, I like to kind of invoke the face of that angelic Avyakt Brahma Baba into my face, like he's there inside this body with me. And I'm looking through the eyes and the third eye, but he also is looking through my third eye, because I've invoked him, his subtle body, into my body. And I don't know if anyone else does that. Probably not. I don't know. I haven't spoken to, I think it's the first time I'm speaking about this, actually. But for me, I love that feeling of being so close, you know, face to face, or face inside face.
Right, right. So tell me, how do you feel supported by this avyakt form of Brahma Baba?
Mostly, I feel supported because he did it.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever someone does something for the first time, they break a record. It's very important and it's profound. And
especially this particular kind of spirituality, no? It's very elevated.
right. And so he paved the way for me and for many and for all of us. And so he paved the way to make it easy. It felt easier than if I had to do it and be the first one. And so he's my example that he did it. And I know I can do it too. I'm a little bit behind because he did it in 33 years and I'm still practicing at 36.
Right. The other question I have is, we think of Brahma Baba as an angel. And so do you feel he's your angel guide?
Do I feel he's my angel guide?
That's a trick question. You're supposed to say yes.
Okay, I'll say yes.
All right. Now, the next question is how do you use him as your angel guide?
Well, sometimes I just keep the company of, like, he's with me when I'm doing something that might be precarious. And so I just keep him on my side, like walking next to me. Okay. And I feel that just by connecting my mind to him, it'll keep my mind clear. It'll direct me to the way I want to go. It'll keep me out of harm's way. And so this is a big support, especially in times when we are walking down maybe New York City in the dark and we're alone, but we're not alone. So we can always invite the angelic form or even the supreme soul.
Right. The next question is about the subtle region of the angelic realm. Tell me about your experiments with it.
Well, I like to go there, and I say imagine, but when I use the word imagine, I think of it as being a very solid word, not something that's
You're dreaming.
not real, something
Right.
that's not real. It's very real. When you image something, that's an imagination. And everything we see in the physical dimension was an image or an imagination first, even Wi-Fi, even this mouse I'm holding. And so the subtle region to me is a place to go and imagine in whatever way I can imagine it. But I think I really had a subtle feeling of it one time unexpectedly. I went to visit someone in the hospital who called me, and it was a student that I didn't know much. He took a few lessons, but then got into a terrible accident. And when I went to see him in the hospital, his head was in a brace. His head was attached to rods going into his body. And his last vision in the accident, when the accident happened to him, was he had a picture of me for some reason. And that's why he called me. And I think it was all in the plan of drama, because I went there and I was talking to him, and went into a meditative state, and all of a sudden, Shireen, the room became all white, and it was like I was in a fog, but a very beautiful fog. It wasn't a fog that you couldn't see. It was like just a dreamy fog that enveloped me. I don't know what his experience was, but I think it might have been the subtle region.
I'm sure it was. So I was thinking when you were relating that story, so not only Brahma Baba is an angel, but for those few moments, even you became an angel.
Maybe. And I think actually that's a good point, Shireen, because I think we all have our angel inside, as Dee Dee would tell us, and we emerge that angelic form different times in different relationships. When I help someone or someone helps me, or, we rise to a level that's out of the ordinary and
Right.
elevated.
Somehow I feel it's not just helping, but the purity, right? The purity is very, very important. And that purity of being connected, the purity of following all of the Srimad that we spoke about, all of that, I think is important.
And the intention.
And the intention, yes.
When you're doing whatever act you're doing.
With selflessness and really of wanting to bring benefit to people, yes. So my last question to you is, how would you suggest we use Brahma Baba as our guide?
Well, just to think about him. Think about him in the form of whether he's corporeal or angelic, which looks like the corporeal picture, but a body of light. And so when you're doing something, you can bring that angelic form in, especially if you're doing something, like I said before, that's dangerous or precarious. You just bring that vibration of purity in, because he did reach his purest human form, the highest form.
Right, right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So that's what we will cover today.
Well, I get to interview you next week.
Yes, yes. And so if you have any questions, do send us, because Sister Dorothy will ask those questions today.
I've got my pen and paper here.
Right, right. So, Brahma Baba. So we've been talking about Brahma Baba today, and I want to talk to you about Brahma Baba as 4 things, right? One is he was the founder of the Brahma Kumaris. And so when we say he was the founder of the Brahma Kumaris, that means he started with his wealth, his body, and his mind. And we will go into that in a little bit about exactly what he did. So he started the Brahma Kumaris like that, with his body, mind, and wealth. And the next thing that we want to talk about Brahma Baba is he was the chariot, or he was the medium in which Shiv Baba came and spoke to us. That's the second part. And the third part is that Brahma Baba, as the example that Dorothy Ben was talking about, that really walked the talk. And so this example, right, is so important, because when we know someone did something, then we can also do it. We can follow in that footsteps. And so that's the third one. And the fourth one is, and when we are following, right, so we think of Brahma Baba as our father, and that we follow in Brahma Baba's footsteps as our father, as our elder brother, as our great-great-grandfather, however you want to see it, but that he has done it and we are following. And the last one is as Angel Brahma. So Angel Brahma, we will talk about Angel Brahma in the next, after we'll do this presentation, then we will do a meditation, and in the next presentation today, we will talk about that. And so one of the things about Brahma Baba was that he was the chariot. And so as Brahma Baba's chariot, what happened was he was the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, used him or engaged him as a medium to talk to us. So when we say that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul sits in this one's body right here, as you can see on the screen, and gives the knowledge. So the knowledge really comes from the Supreme Soul, but through Brahma Baba. And one of the things is, so the Supreme Soul says, so the Supreme Soul is the incorporeal soul, the being of light, the supreme being of light that never takes on a body. He says that because he never has a body of his own. So whatever actions I perform them through this one. So Shiv Baba is saying that whatever actions he performs through Brahma Baba. So he sits in the forehead, and so the human soul is there, and right next to Brahma Baba's soul, the Supreme Soul sits and he performs the action. So the Supreme Soul is the guest, and he comes and he goes at his own will. I become the master of this body, and I begin to speak through the organs. And so one of the things that I always feel is when we are in this body, there's a lot of bondage, especially at this time. But the Supreme Soul never has that sense of bondage. It's always a master. And so he comes in through Brahma Baba, speaks through Brahma Baba's body. And that's what happened from 1936 to 1969 when Brahma Baba became Avyakt. And so he speaks, he comes into sound. And this is another important thing. The Supreme Soul comes down to earth through the body of Brahma so he can take us back to the soul world. So we should always keep this in our awareness that it's the incorporeal Father has descended into the corporeal world, into a physical body. So it's Shiv Baba has come, right, into Brahma Baba. But Shiv Baba is very important. And of course, we have that respect for Brahma Baba, but Shiv Baba is the one coming. And so Shiv Baba is the one teaching. So the Supreme Soul is the one teaching us. He's the one who is sitting in this body, this chariot, and he is teaching. The other one is, so we call him Bhagirath, or the lucky chariot. The lucky chariot means he is very lucky, but also I always feel that to those who are given a lot, right? They have to have a lot. They have a lot of responsibility and a lot is expected. So yes, Shiv Baba came in the body of Brahma, and he was very lucky that Shiv Baba came, but also he made that kind of effort where he was totally absorbed, totally surrendered through body, mind, and wealth, where he really gave everything and he followed the teachings. So we should always have this awareness that when we are listening, that this is Shiv Baba's knowledge, but it comes through Brahma Baba. So when Shiv Baba came, even Brahma Baba did not know his own lives, right? He didn't know what was going on, what happened, where he came from, all of that. For Brahma Baba also listened while Shiv Baba was talking, Brahma Baba listened. So Shiv Baba really adopted an old, experienced body. So the body that Shiv Baba came in, the soul of Brahma, is not only the body was 60 years old, but the soul of Brahma was the soul that really from the beginning of time has been around. So he had a lot of experiences in that current life as Dada Lake Raj. He was Dada Lake Raj, but also from the beginning of the Golden Age, he had the most amount of experiences. So he has gone through the entire cycle from the very first birth in the Golden Age to the last birth in the Iron Age. So his role is from the beginning of the Golden Age to the end of the Iron Age and the end of the Confluence Age. So he has within him the experience of the whole tree, right? Remember we spoke about the tree, that he has the experience of the whole tree. So this is Brahma Baba before Shiv Baba entered him. So as you can see, he was a very renowned businessman. He was born in India and his name was Lake Raj, Dada Lake Raj. He was a successful, very, very successful jewel merchant and a successful businessman. He used to do business with all kinds of royalty at that time, everyone. So he was a very strong devotee. Even before Shiv Baba came, he used to read the Gita a lot. His favorite deity was Narayan, and he had deep love for the truth. And also, he adopted many, many gurus before Shiv Baba came, many gurus and many scholars. He used to talk to them, ask him for advice and all of those things. And so he was part of a Sindhi community, and he lived with his family in a community in which he was very, very much respected. And so this is important to note because he was highly respected. He was a very successful businessman. He was doing business with a lot of royalty. Royalty used to invite him all the Maharajas of Jaipur, all of these places used to invite him to their homes and stuff like that. And so from that, when Shiv Baba entered, what happened was, like, he was an extraordinary businessman, an extraordinary person, but he was not one of those sannyasis, or not like that. He was just a householder. He was an ordinary man, human being, and he was fulfilling his responsibilities with honesty and love. And so when Shiv Baba came, what happened was he had a vision of Shiv Baba. And Shiv Baba said to him, "Remember me and all your sins will be destroyed." And then Shiv Baba gave him a vision of the golden age and a vision of destruction. So this was in 1936, before there was an atomic bomb. But Brahma Baba had this vision of this mushroom cloud and all of this. This was way back then, right? And so he gave a vision of destruction and establishment. And so Brahma Baba did not have any understanding of what was going on with him. He knew that there was some feeling that there was some unique power has entered him, but he wasn't sure. So at night when he was sleeping, he felt so light, as if he was flying, but the knowledge was not very clear. He was just having visions. So, and at that time, what would happen is, when he would look at people, some of them would have visions. And so what he did was he took leave of his very successful business, which he had offices in many shops in many cities, which is now Pakistan, and then in India, in Calcutta. And so, and he took leave and he went to Benares, which is the holy city of India. And he would sit in solitude and think of the Supreme Soul at that point. He would just draw and write, and he would, whatever was being revealed to him, he would be reflecting on that. And then eventually he understood that it was the Supreme Soul guiding him. Initially, he couldn't get it, but eventually he understood that then when he understood, what he did is he gave up his business. He gave up his business, and because he decided that he has to deal with the spiritual business, deal with the jewels of knowledge instead of physical jewels, that he has to deal with the jewels of knowledge. And so he renounced everything. And he and 400 other people went into seclusion. And then that's when the Brahma Kumari started. And so what we are going to do is we will have a meditation right now. And so give me a second. So let's have a few minutes of meditation on what we heard. So I want you to take a deep breath. And as you breathe in and out, become aware of yourself as a soul, a luminous being pulsating behind your eyes and between your eyebrows. Just become aware of yourself as that luminous soul, the conscient being. And as you become aware, slowly remember the Supreme Soul in front of you, the beautiful, benevolent, truthful, being of light. And the difference between you, the soul, and the Supreme Soul is that the Supreme Soul does not come into the cycle of birth and death. The Supreme Soul is ever pure, the ocean of knowledge. The Supreme Soul is the ocean of peace. Shiv Baba, the ocean of love. The ocean of love, the ocean of peace, and most importantly, the ocean of knowledge enters the body of Brahma. And Brahma Baba is the perfect chariot for Shiv Baba. Brahma Baba used all his wealth, his body, his mind, everything in Shiv Baba's task. And Shiv Baba's task is to bring about the golden age for humanity. So Brahma Baba used his body as an example for everyone to make the lives of millions of people elevated. He used his wealth as seed, money for the golden age. And he used his mind to remember Shiv Baba and no one else. And so let's do the same thing. Follow Brahma Baba. So we always say that we have three fathers. One is my physical father, your physical father. The second is Alokik, or the spiritual father, Brahma Baba. And the third is our Parlokik Supreme Father, Shiv Baba. So we have to remember Shiv Baba, but we follow Brahma Baba as an example, the perfect example. And so take a moment now and make a determined thought that yes, I will follow Brahma Baba. Om Shanti. Om Shanti, everyone. I hope you were inspired by Brahma Baba's life. So let's talk about this time. So that was Sakar Baba, right? That was what happened with Baba in the beginning. And now let's talk about how Brahma Baba became an angel and how we can engage Brahma Baba right now. So Brahma Baba, there is our beloved Brahma Baba. And so what Brahma Baba, the one thing you can say about Brahma Baba, these are very important things about Brahma Baba, right? And I want you to take some time and listen to the presentation again, because it's very important. Some of these concepts are very important, and you might not get it the first time around. So he recognized the benefit and transformed everything. And so he surrendered his ego, the dictates of his own mind, and he just followed Srimad. So he gave his wealth as the seed for world service, to transform the world, to bring benefit to everyone. So he fulfilled his responsibilities to all of his physical relationships, his wife and his children, everyone. He fulfilled his responsibilities. And then the other thing about Brahma Baba was he never worried about anything. He was not worried about anything. Whatever it was, he just knew that he was just the instrument for Shiv Baba, and Shiv Baba will take care of everything. And so Shiv Baba gave a signal, and Brahma Baba carried that out in action. And so Brahma Baba, with self-respect, and determined faith, he did everything. So he lived his life like a lotus flower. He was loving to everyone and detached from everyone. And so remember, I said he was very well respected in his community. So during his life, he had a lot of opposition because he made women the heads, spiritual heads, and also he was advocating celibacy. And so he had a lot of opposition from his community, from those he thought were his friends, everyone, right? But whatever the situation was, he never had any doubts. He had to face so much opposition, but he faced it with courage, with self-respect, with Baba, with Shiv Baba, and with determined faith. And the other thing we have to remember is that, yes, we have respect for Brahma Baba, but we have a direct relationship with Shiv Baba also. So even Brahma Baba was you could say even Brahma Baba was an effort maker, right? He always considered him an effort maker, and he always used to say that sometimes even I forget Shiv Baba. And so he had to make the most effort because Maya came to him the most, the vices, he had the most amount of things he had to, responsibility, everything he had to deal with. And so remembrance was slipping away again and again. And so he always used to say that this destination is very high and I have to make great effort in this. That was what Brahma Baba used to say. And so even Brahma Baba had to settle his karmic accounts. And so the way you settle your karmic accounts, everyone has to do it. Remember, Dorothy Ben was talking about karma teeth, where you go beyond the effects of your karma. And the way you do that is with knowledge and with yoga with Shiv Baba. And that is the law, right? Brahma Baba, everyone has to settle with knowledge and yoga, and that is with Shiv Baba. And so Brahma Baba always used to say, I too am a student. And so when Shiv Baba is telling something to the children, even Brahma Baba is listening. So Brahma Baba is referred to as the father of humanity. So Brahma Baba is still the creation. Shiv Baba is the creator, and we receive our inheritance from the creator. So in 1969, Brahma Baba became Avyakt, means he became unmanifest, he became an angel. And he is in the subtle region, the region of white light, the angelic realm. And so there we meet Brahma Baba, we meet Shiv Baba in the body of Brahma, and the souls meet souls in our subtle bodies of light. So we go there with our subtle bodies of light. That actually means you're not physically going there, but with your mind's eye, with your visualization, you go there with your subtle body of light. And it is from this region that Father Shiva and child Brahma or Brahma Baba are currently serving. So Brahma Baba right now is in the subtle region. And so the subtle region works with the power of pure thoughts. So if you have a pure thought, you go in front of Baba in the subtle region, Baba becomes present for you. This is important to remember. With pure thoughts, pure intentions, you go to Brahma Baba. In Shiv Baba also is in the body of Brahma in the subtle region, and both of them become present for you. It's not that he becomes present for me alone or Sister Dorothy. No, he will become present for you also. And so there is the talkie, this is the physical world. We have the movie, which is the subtle region, where there is no words. It's only through signals. And then there is the land of silence, which is the soul world. So he serves Shiv Baba there with his chariot of light. So he had a physical chariot. Now he has a chariot of light, or a body of light. And he serves with Shiv Baba with his body of light. So he looks at us with subtle drishti. So Shiv Baba looks at us with subtle drishti through Brahma Baba's chariot, right? And so we have to remember Shiv Baba. So in the subtle region, there is the image of Brahma Baba's light, and in this body, there is Brahma Baba's soul in its complete and perfect form. And also in this body of light is the supreme light of Father Shiva. So Avyakt stage means that mastery and being beyond. So even we can have, like Sister Dorothy was sharing, no? For a few moments, she had that Avyakt stage, that angelic stage. So we can also have that angelic stage by becoming a master and going beyond. And to experience, and we have to experience the soul as a bodiless soul, not connected to the, totally in the body, but as a bodiless soul, that we are so detached from the body. And then we have mastery and we are so beyond. And there has to be spirituality and divinity in our vision. And so that, my dear angels, is the presentation for that. And now we will have a 5 minutes of meditation on Brahma Baba, angelic Brahma Baba, okay? So give me a minute. All right. So take a moment, take a deep breath. Breathe in and out and see yourself again as that luminous star, radiating love and light, and having the purest vision for yourself and for everyone else. You are a soul
Tú eres el alma,
deeply connected to the Supreme Soul.
profundamente conectada al alma suprema.
And through this connection, you are invoking Brahma Baba's presence into your life. Brahma Baba, as your angel guide, is becoming present for you because of your purity of intention, because of your acceptance and your understanding. And as you invoke Baba, you become present in front of Baba in the subtle region. And as you become present in front of Baba, you see Shiv Baba within Brahma Baba. And now you're taking drishti from both Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba. This drishti makes you have a sense of belonging. You, the soul, belong to both Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba. Your spiritual father and your father from beyond. Brahma Baba's guidance is there in your life. All you have to do is put on the switch of awareness and immerse yourself in the subtle region, or invoke Baba here, Bab Dada, Brahma Dada, and Shiv Baba to this physical world. And in this invocation, you realize that Shiv Baba is always available, that your inheritance is coming from Shiv Baba. You have to remember Shiv Baba. You have to have yoga with Shiv Baba. And this yoga will settle your karmic accounts. This is a very important law in spirituality that is universal. It applies to everyone. You, Brahma Baba, me, everyone. We become pure through remembrance of Shiv Baba. We become pure through the knowledge that Shiv Baba has given us through Brahma Baba. And with that thought, I come back to here and now. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you so much, Sister Shireen. It's been wonderful having this meditation experiences. So I'm sure everyone must be enjoying. And now I would like to invite Sister Dorothy also. And Sister Shireen and Sister Dorothy will take up the questions. So please write your questions in chat box in host. They will take up those questions. Thank you.
Om Shanti, everyone. So several of you have sent questions to me directly. I hope you got those questions, Dorothy Ben.
I did not get those. They
Okay.
sent to you directly?
Question one.
But I have some questions.
Okay.
Or you could do your questions.
Let's talk about a couple of these questions and then we'll get to what you have. As souls, do I ever get a chance to go to the subtle region? Yeah. I mean, right now in meditation, we can always go. Just recently, Baba was saying in the Murli that there is no in Avyakt Murli. Avyakt Murli means after Brahma Baba became Avyakt, the Murlis come. That he was saying that in the physical world, there is a lot of limitations, but in the subtle region, there is no limitation. You go whenever you want. And you really will feel like you're there. So we have three fathers. Who is the great-grandfather? That is Brahma Baba. So Brahma Baba is the great-great-grandfather.
I have a question.
Okay.
The question is, there are so many places that say that God speaks through them or to them. How are we to really know that this is the real story?
There are three things that we would know. One is the God of our understanding of any religion, has to be the highest God, the highest level of understanding of God. For example, you can't say, God asked me to kill someone. God would never do that. Even a human being will never ask someone to kill another human being. If it's a regular righteous human being, wouldn't do that. So forget about God asking that, right? So if someone says, God asked me to kill someone and it's God speaking, that's not God speaking. And so that's just a very mundane example, but even the conception of God has to be very, very elevated. So that's one. The second one is if you follow the knowledge that is being given, then there has to be transformation. You have to see transformation. So that's how you know. That's the second one. The third one is it has to inspire enough people to do righteous action. It can't just be, 10 people there have decided they're going to do it. No, there has to be enough people in the world doing righteous action, following it. There are many ways to know, but those three, I think, would help.
Thank you. And I enjoyed the presentation so much, even though I know the knowledge. I think it was presented very clearly, and the graphics also were just very nice. They were astounding. One of the last pictures that you showed on the slide was the three worlds, and you said the world of silence. And then this person is thinking, can we talk to God? It's a world of silence, then how do we talk to God?
Yes. So when we go to the world of silence, we have to be silent. it's beyond sound, right? Nirvana means beyond sound. And so if you want to talk to God, then you talk to God in the subtle region through Brahma Baba. That's how you talk to God.
So
So
you can,
yes, God is available for you to talk to, but invoke God in the subtle region in Brahma Baba's body, like we showed, and then you talk.
so you can't talk to God through your feelings or?
Yes, in the physical world, yes, you invoke him here. He's available. Yes.
But I mean, to go to the soul world and see God as a point of light.
No, I feel not really. If you're going to the soul world, you're defeating the purpose by thinking. You're going to the soul world so that you can really go beyond sound.
So are you mostly just absorbing the vibrations of that?
Yes, the vibration of peace, the vibrations of Baba, you're just mostly absorbing there.
Right. You had said something about that Brahma Baba had more experiences than anyone else in the golden age. Why is that?
No, I mean, if whoever comes in the golden age, we all have experiences, right? But he was from the beginning, like he was Adi Dev, the first deity. And he was from the beginning, he took the full 84 births and he had all the experiences, like from the beginning of the golden age, then all of the experiences, like the full spectrum of experiences in the copper age, in the silver age, in the iron age, like that.
Okay. Now I have another question. It's unusual, very unusual. And it says, Dee Dee said they would like to continue and we can do Murley with them. And they can raise their hands. So I imagine that means if they would like to continue, they can raise their hand, whether it's their electronic hand or even their physical hand.
Right, yes. Or send us an email on SOI Brahmakumaris.
Or send on the chat.
On the chat, yes.
You can send on the chat. There are some chats. And there's one here, it says, we have thoroughly enhanced our knowledge with all the sessions. We are blessed. So people do really feel blessed with the experience of divine love, purity, peace, happiness, inculcating within us. Very nice. Can you please share a few stories on how the following the teachings of Brahma Baba created magic in your life, Shireen, and help you to overcome any difficult situations in your life?
Oh, so many, right? I have so many. I mean, to begin with, also, I don't know if I ever shared this with you, Dorothy Ben, but when I first started, as you know, I wasn't really wanting to come to morning class. And so I felt Brahma Baba stalking me, this word stalking seems very negative, but I felt his presence, like
he was courting you.
Courting me, exactly. Everywhere I went, right? I went to work, he was there. I went to eat out at that point.
How was he there? When you say you went to work, he was there. How was he there?
In my cubicle, I had a cubicle at that point. He was just standing and I could feel him. I could actually feel like a presence, right? If actually someone is standing there, that's how I felt, that him standing there. In my room, at home, just standing there. I went to eat out one time. I mean, I don't eat out now, but at that time I was eating out. I mean, I was a vegetarian, but I did eat out. And so he was standing there, right? I'm eating out and I'm watching Brahma Baba watching me. And I felt very safe. I felt that there was a message he's trying to give me and I wasn't understanding the message. So I needed to understand what is it that he was trying to say me by his presence in my life.
Very nice.
And so then when I went to the center and listened to the Murli, then I understood what he was trying to do. And of course, now no stalking.
Okay, one last question. What's the difference between Brahma Baba, Moses, Buddha, or Jesus? Are they all the same? I think you kind
It's a very good question. Very good question. So, time period, right? Moses, I don't know about Moses, but let's talk about Buddha and Christ. They came in the Copper Age to establish a religion. And so once they came, a lot of souls from the soul world came, followed them down. And Brahma Baba is Shiv Baba's chariot, but Shiv Baba has come to take us back home. So there's no expansion because after Buddha, lots of people came, right? The population census tell you that lots of people came after Buddha. Lots of people came after Christ. So lots of people came the last 25 years, 2 billion souls came down. But now Brahma Baba is about taking us back home.
Okay, very nice. And
establishing the golden age too. So that's the difference, I feel. There are several questions which came to me, but I'm guessing we don't have time.
Well, if you think they're good, then
there is one here which says, is the Indus Valley civilization same as the golden age that we are talking about? I don't think so. I feel maybe Indus Valley civilization has happened at the end of the Silver Age or the beginning of the Copper Age. The Golden Age really was extraordinary. You know, in the Bible, it talks about gates of pearl and roads of gold. That's what the Golden Age is.
Okay. Very nice. So now, do we have the blessing? Should we go with the blessing?
Yes.
And I've pulled one up because I didn't know, since the team is a little different today. But let me share.
Why don't you read it, Dorothy? Oh, you're sharing. Okay.
Yeah.
In God's heart, in the quiet of the night, I whispered into your soul, be mine, and you awakened, belonging to me and I to you. Fabulous. Thank you very much.
The way God comes to many of us is very subtle, you know, just with a whisper or when you're in your quiet time. So everyone out there, you can think about this very deeply and just be quiet and let him whisper to you.
Right.
Okay.
Let's have a minute of silence. Oh, I do want to make an announcement. Starting October 2nd, it's a Saturday, we will start a series on the 8 powers. It promises to be very interesting. Anyone can take benefit, BKs, new BKs, old BKs, no BKs, souls, all souls. Everyone can take benefit. So you're all invited to come.
Also, Shirin Ben, so one thing that today was 19th episode and next week will be the 20th. So after that, if anybody is interested, you know, for further learning, further understanding, and would like to continue, I know one of you announced that, but just wanted to make more clear. If you would like to continue with these teachings, please do send us email, which we always put on the slide in the end. So please write down our email address and please send your email so that we can follow up with you and we can arrange some sessions for you so you can have more learning further. Right, Shirin Ben? Dorothy Ben?
Yes.
Very good.
Yes. So now let's
Thank
have
you for reminding us, Bhumi Ben.
Yeah. So next week we will give you all the details for further program for October. as well as the sessions which we will continue. So if you can please send us email in during this 1 week, so we will know how many of you are interested. So according to that, we will arrange the session for you all. So that would be grateful. Thank you. Shanti. So as we have our YouTube channel, you can always go to YouTube channel and all recordings are available there if you would like to revise them. And also, as I announced before, that if you would like to continue with these teachings, please do send us email soi@us.brahmakumaris.org. You can take a picture of the slide so you have a exact email address. And if you have registered, then we will have some information of yours. If you haven't, then please do so that we can always send out any information for further new programs or series. And also we have a website for brahmakumaris.org, so we can you can find any center nearby wherever you are in USA or any other country. So these are the information you can have, and I'm sure we'll continue this journey together. So we look forward to see you again next Saturday. It's going to be episode 20. Om Shanti.